Okay, let's look at response rate. Response rate is the percentage of people who, when asked to participate in the study, agree to do so. And there are disagreements on what a good response rate is, whether it's at or above 50%, or if it's in the 75 to 90% range. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. There are two basic ways to calculate response rate. You can take the number of return surveys or interviews divided by the number in the sample, and then you subtract out the non-eligible or unreachable individuals. Then you multiply that by 100. The more common way is a little bit more simpler. We take the number of return surveys divided by the number in the sample times 100. So with this, let's just say your sample is let's just say it's 1,000 people. So we have 1,000 people in your sample. We've got 400 completed surveys, right? So we have 400 completed surveys divided by 1,000, right? So what would that be? That'd be around 0.4. Then we multiply it by 100, which would equal 40. So our return response rate is 40%. So let's talk about what a good response rate would look like. The first thing you need to do is consider what type of research survey are you doing. Are you doing in-person surveying, where you're facing the person face-to-face and you're asking them to complete a survey? Or are you doing it remotely, whether that's via online methods or a telephone? Each one can differ a lot, and the accepted rates differ a lot. What I would encourage you to do is when you start thinking about these, go look at what acceptable response rates are for your project and your survey methodology. Typically, the in-person surveys look for a better response rate than do telephones or online surveys. Online surveys are gaining a lot of popularity and they're getting more common, so they're getting better response rates than they were previously. Let's look at an example. Suppose you've been asked to survey students regarding their use and opinions about the campus intramural program. So, you want to identify a specific sampling technique that could be used to conduct the study. Most likely, you're going to use probability sampling and use simple random sampling or stratified sampling to get your respondents. Next, we'll look at what are the major disadvantages and advantages of each of the identified sampling techniques. The advantage is it's easy. The disadvantage is acquiring a list of all student names in some manner. Next, how many people should be surveyed? So this depends on the total number of students registered at the university. So we'll need to consult a reference or recommended sample size guide to give us the number of people we need to sample in total.